Yeah, what's up, fellas? And welcome back to another episode of Mags Frags, where it's the fragrance that's the star of the show. My name's Paul, and it's my mission to pair you with your perfect signature scent. In today's episode, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Xerjoff Zafar from the Oud Stars Collection. It was first launched back in 2012, so I suppose it's approaching retro status now. It comes in an eau de parfum concentration, and a 50ml bottle can set you back anywhere from between £250 to £400 depending on which retailer you purchase it from. It's an oriental woody fragrance for men and women, and the nose behind this creation was Chris Maurice. Okay, so into the presentation, and as you'd expect from a Xerjoff fragrance, the presentation on this is absolutely top notch, but unfortunately I no longer have the original box to show you. But the bottle itself though is a work of art and a luxurious statement piece. It comes in the classic Xerjoff shape with a tall, slightly tapered silhouette that shouts and screams elegance and sophistication. The thick and chunky translucent glass has a deep red to clear graduated hue, and we've got the brand's logo embossed into this golden metal faceplate on the front. We've also got the name of the scent delicately etched in gold underneath. Around the back is a sticker containing all the notes in the fragrance, which is also a nice touch and just saves having to search for an accurate note breakdown online. The cap is a striking golden crown and a trademark of the Xerjoff design aesthetic, which is made of metal and clicks firmly into place. It also has the Xerjoff name stamped into it. The spray quality is also really excellent, and when it comes to presentation, Xerjoff are pretty difficult to beat, and I'm sure you'll agree that this is a stunning looking bottle. Okay, so into the note breakdown, and the top notes in this one are rose and black pepper. In the heart, we've got neroli from Morocco, oud from Laos, and white flowers. And in the base, we've got cedar, incense, Haitian vetiver, musk, and oud from Burma. Okay, so I'm going to start off by saying that this is an ambitious fragrance designed to capture the boldness of oud, but in my opinion, it misses the mark significantly. While many have lauded Xerjoff for pushing boundaries with unique and rich compositions, Zafar's opening is an example of pushing things a little bit too far, in my opinion, to the point where it's almost unapproachable. Its complex construction brings a surprising mix of florals and woods, which are anchored by rich oud from both Laos and Burma. However, the execution, particularly in the opening, is quite hard to overlook and may not be for everyone, or should I say for that matter, anyone. The fragrance opens with an incredibly challenging blend of rose and black pepper that's, to put it bluntly, is quite shocking, to be honest. Rather than the expected blend of florals and spices, the initial scent leans heavily towards an overpowering chemical odour that I can only describe as smelling something like white spirit or turpentine. It feels really synthetic and abrasive, leaving little room for any subtleties that are typically associated with fine fragrances. The rose, which could have provided a softer, more balanced start, is completely drowned out, and the black pepper doesn't come across as peppery, but instead it feels more like an astringent, almost metallic sharpness that just dominates the initial impression. On top of that, the oud itself, particularly in the opening phase, has an intensely barnyard quality. I understand that oud can be earthy and raw, but in Zafar it comes across as overpowering, like a damp, muddy barn floor. It's unfiltered and unpleasant, and if you're not accustomed to strong oud, the opening can feel downright offensive. This fragrance arguably has one of the most polarising openings I think I've ever encountered, and unfortunately it just leans far into the realm of harshness rather than sophistication for my taste personally. As the fragrance begins to settle, you start to pick up on the heart notes, which feature neroli from Morocco, additional white florals, and a touch more oud. The neroli tries to lend a hint of sweetness and like an orange blossom aspect, and although it does start to settle down and soften a touch, it's still overpowered by that lingering barnyard effect of the oud. The white florals, which could have provided more delicate creamy softness, just struggle to emerge and are at best just faint. The fragrance's heart never really fully finds balance, leaving me feeling as if that these floral aspects were included just as like an afterthought rather than an integral part of the blend. In many oud-based fragrances, the oud is deepened or balanced by supporting notes, creating an experience that's maybe like full-bodied and refined. But here, the oud just dominates that mid-phase in a way that is less sophisticated and more reminiscent of like a muddy forest after a rainstorm. Damp, heavy and somewhat stifling. The art notes fail to provide any real relief from the overwhelming opening, and at this point the fragrance continues to lack kind of a coherent direction. But as we get deeper into the dry down, thankfully there's some redemption. The base notes of cedar, incense, Haitian vetiver, musk, and a little bit more oud transform the fragrance into more of a grounded and subtle woody profile. The intensity of the oud mellows right at the end, out to a more wearable level, blending with the cedar and incense to create a lingering damp wood aroma that feels atmospheric rather than abrasive. The vetiver and musk add a touch of earthiness that complements the woody elements, giving the fragrance a more rounded finish in the final stages. The fragrance finally achieves a certain level of sophistication that was desperately lacking in the beginning, and the dry down is softer and more approachable, but by the time it arrives, it almost feels too little too late. And while the base offers a more enjoyable experience, it's a long and arduous journey to actually get there. Yeah, this is definitely a cold weather scent that's probably best suited to wear if you're planning on going outdoors for an autumnal or wintry stroll. The open air may give it more space to breathe and make it more enjoyable as an experience. But I suppose it's difficult for me to suggest any other suitable time and place to wear it because it's simply not one I'd wear for any situation, to be totally honest. When it comes to the performance, it certainly delivers in terms of longevity and projection. The fragrance has an impressive staying power, easily lasting 10 to 12 hours on the skin and clinging on clothes even longer. However, in this case, its performance can feel more like a double-edged sword. Given the challenging nature of the scent, especially in the opening, that lasting power may work against it for those who find it, especially the initial phase, a little bit overwhelming. Okay, so this is one of those rare occasions where I can't really find anything positive to say, which is such a shame because this is the brand that gave us the likes of Naxos, Neo, Torino 21 and Herba Pura to name but a few. But this one is, unfortunately for me, is a fragrance that just doesn't live up to the promise of its rich and intricate note structure. The opening is by far the harshest I've ever come across, and it verges on unpleasant with its intense chemical and barnyard-like qualities. Oud can be a difficult note to handle, and while some fragrances manage to use it with elegance, Zafar lacks that kind of finesse. The notes feel disjointed, as if they're competing with each other rather than harmonising, resulting in a fragrance that feels abrasive and just off balance. While the dry down offers a slight improvement, the majority of the experience just remains harsh, challenging and almost offensive in my opinion. Unless you have a deep appreciation for extremely raw oud or an unusually adventurous palate, Zafar is definitely a difficult sell for me and one that I find almost impossible to recommend. I do apologise to anyone who actually owns it and really enjoys it though. I absolutely hate being negative and usually block people who leave negative comments on my channel, etc. But I just can't say I really enjoy something when I don't. And for me, this is a hard pass, unfortunately. Okay, so once again, that's about it for today's review. But coming up this week, I've got two Mancera fragrances to talk about. One is the brand new 2024 release called Cherry Cherry. And the other one is one that came out last year, but it's a really good one. So don't forget to look out for those. I'm also hoping to pick up some quirky little finds when I visit London this week, so hopefully I might have some interesting ones to bring back with me and to share with you all. So please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you do enjoy my content and don't want to miss any of my future uploads. So until then guys, thank you very much once again for tuning in. Stay safe, keep smelling fresh, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Bye bye for now.